There is no way on God's green earth that this group of women would take us back to that place and somebody, Toya, would not bring up that incident.
So Curtis, but if it's not the place, is it the people? And we're the people. And are you saying that we are not trustworthy enough to spend time with you to not on you?
If I can address you, what you have to make it about is say, you know what? We can't imagine what they had to go through this morning in their own house, in their own marriage. So right now, if everybody quit being selfish, then you would understand.
Dr. Jackie, the way that you talked out of both sides of your neck, in order to weasel your way out of this talk, honey. And now I really don't believe your piss poor apology that you sat there and recorded. Like, Jackie, baby, you, as much education as you have, and you tried to sit there and act like you didn't understand what Mariah was saying when she told you your slip was showing, baby, your slip is showing. Matter of fact, I can see your drawers. Okay? And I don't like them. So we open with the episode at Simone's house. Everybody is meeting there to, take off for the trip, with the exception of Jackie, Dr. Damon, Heavenly, and Big Curtis. They're having, their little breakfast or whatever, and Simone is like teasing Kemma, talking about, can I serve you or whatever. And one way or another, he mentions that Alicia is trained up right. And I'm like, trained up? Like, what do you mean trained up? Like, this woman is not only like a housewife, super mom, but she's also like a career woman. And then, not to mention, you're talking about being trained up, but baby, who trained you up? Where was your training of the up? Because if I'm not mistaken, Alicia mentioned how she even goes as far as doing the handiwork around the house. Like, what are you good for? Like, you can't even hire somebody to pick up a nail and a hammer? Like, baby, who trained you to be a man? You know what I mean? Because as far as what I've seen, you are not. Alicia's just as much man as you are, if the qualifications is just making money. And if I might add, she may be overqualified, more qualified than yourself, because not only is she able to, bring in money, but she was also able to bring in life into this earth. Can you do that? Oh, okay. I didn't think so. Simone starts to ask, where is everybody else, i.e. Jackie, her big stupid ass husband, Heavenly, and Damon. And so she calls Heavenly first, and Heavenly sounds just so disturbed, so disgusted, so upset, and she proceeds to say how she's not coming because Curtis is not coming. And I'm just like, Heavenly, I understand and I appreciate loyalty amongst friends, but baby, you are going overboard. As much as I believe in loyalty, I also believe in reciprocity. And I don't believe that Jackie would do the same for you. And I also have to add that I do not believe in doing things for people based on what you think they would do for you, or what you feel like you should get in return for doing it. I don't believe in that. But at the same time, baby, you gotta love people the same way they love you. And, I don't think Jackie loves you the way you love her, because she allows you to look a damn fool. You know what I mean? And as much as you may think that people telling Jackie to put you in your place would serve other people, it would actually serve you too, Heavenly. Because if Jackie loved you, she would put you in your place to save you from looking like a fool, to save you from leaving a bad taste in people's mouth. And another thing, Heavenly, I believe in, siding with your friend and loyalty at all costs. But at the same time, you can have loyalty with your friend without taking on their beef. Because you see how silly you look every time Simone and Jackie have a talk in a conversation, and then you have to come back and apologize to Simone for getting out of line. You see how silly you look when you do that? Yeah, that's why you need to stay in your lane and support people from a distance. You know what I mean? Because you're putting your reputation on the line with these ladies for Jackie. And I don't think that's working in your favor. And it hasn't been for some time. It was a little cute at first, but now it's become a bit sinister on Jackie's part. You know what I mean? And for Phaedra to come in on season 1 and she was able to point it out the way she did in her confessional, it should not be that evident, honey. Y'all's relationship is very disturbing, and y'all need to set some boundaries. More so you, Heavenly, and allow Jackie to defend herself and fend for herself. And as smart as Jackie is, as educated as she is, as great as you all make her out to be, I find it hard to believe that she wouldn't be capable of speaking up herself if need be. You know what I mean? So, yeah, allow things to play out on their own, Heavenly. So then Simone calls Jackie, and Jackie is saying how Curtis is so, you know, bothered by the idea of this trip that she's not going, and she ends up getting off the phone crying. And for the life of me, I cannot fathom or wrap my mind around how we are having all of this, care and all of this tiptoeing for Curtis. You know what I mean? And then Jackie and Curtis, like, do you not all realize that you all's main issue about this trip was not wanting for the conversation about Curtis's infidelities to come up? Well, in efforts of trying so hard to not make this conversation come up, y'all have made it the topic of conversation. Do y'all not realize that? Y'all were so worried about everybody else bringing it up that now y'all have made it the focal point. I guarantee you, if y'all would have just showed up and act like nothing, nobody would have brought this up. And if they did, it would have only been but for a moment, because things can only be as big as you allow them to be. And I'm surprised that your big age and your big size, Curtis, you don't understand that. You know what I mean? And I'm less than half your age, and I can, figure that out in my head. But like you know why you guys were feeling so paranoid? I think it's one of two things. Number one, you all have not healed the way you are leading on, and number two, it's speaking of guilt. Like maybe, Curtis, you've been cheating again, and you don't want anybody to, bring it up, because then Jackie may start to notice, some patterns of behavior that are very familiar to the times of your the infidelity before. You know what I mean? It's giving guilty. It's giving you haven't, given up your cheating ways. It's giving you're still stepping out, you know. Because if you weren't, like, I can't imagine that this would be, I mean, of course, yes, it wouldn't be something you want to talk about, right? Because nobody wants to talk about, the times that they messed up. But I don't know, something about it feels very, like there's something there. And, if y'all really if production really wanted to kick it up a notch, we should have took a trip to the DR. Because, Curtis clearly has no problem going there, so maybe that's where we should have all gone. So they get to the house, and the men helping Phaedra with her luggage brings up the topic of gender roles and resting in your feminine energy. And Kemma has the audacity to say to his wife that she needs to take some lessons on being feminine from Phaedra. And I'm like, well, baby, where do you need to take your lessons on being masculine? Because how can you expect her to be feminine when she has to be both masculine and feminine? Because you really told this woman that she could use some tips on being feminine when you are barely masculine. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, can you even make a sandwich, Kemma? You know what I mean? Can you even change a tire? Do you feed her mental, make sure that her mental is okay? You can't be making sure her mental is okay, because there's no way her mental can be okay when she's feeding, fixing, and all of the other F's that you can think of around the house. Like, it doesn't seem like Dr. Alicia has the time nor luxury to rest, let alone rest in her femininity. Like, give me a break. Give Alicia a break, actually, baby, and pick up a hammer and hit yourself atop the head with it. Because if you're so great, maybe you can knock some sense into your damn self. Because, like, is anybody else good enough to knock it into you? God. Quick sidebar. Phaedra mentions how, well, they're going outside to set up for dinner, and Phaedra mentions how the neighbors are very close to the house, so that would rule out skinny dipping. And I'm like, excuse me? There's two problems here. Number one, you would consider skinny dipping as a single woman, even if you, single or not, you would consider skinny dipping on a couple's trip in a house full of other people's husbands. And number two, was it not you who got upset at Kenya jumping in the pool with your husband, but now you would consider skinny dipping amongst other people's husbands? Like, and not to mention, you're concerned about the neighbor coming out of their house or into their backyard and seeing you naked in the pool, but there are other people actually in the house with you who could come out and see you naked in the pool. Like, Phaedra, like, you have a bad habit of contradicting yourself. Like, so Jackie, her lap dog, her big stupid husband, and Damon arrive at the trip as everybody is preparing for dinner. And Heavenly asked what she missed, and Toya's just flat out honest and said that they was talking about her like a dog. And this goes back to my point at the beginning of my video. Had Jackie and Curtis just shown up with everyone else and didn't make it apparent to everyone else how big of an issue this was for them, there would have been no reason for this initial conversation, which then triggered the reason why they which then triggered a conversation for the reason as to why they had an issue coming, which then creates a domino effect to talk about, the issue that caused the problem for them having an issue with coming, which is Curtis's infidelity. Like, it all leads back to Curtis's infidelity, and Curtis's infidelity all leads back to Curtis. Like, Curtis is a problem. Like, I don't understand I don't feel sorry for Jackie or Curtis, because number one, y'all are not special, just like everybody keeps pointing out in this episode. And number two, like, you all are the reason for this big whole commotion. This whole commotion that you guys were trying to avoid in the first place, y'all caused it anyway. And look, we're here anyways. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you try to, like, in Final Destination, when the people try to avoid death, and then at the end, death will skip you for now, but then it's always going to come back to bite. Like, hello? Let me find out y'all are just avoiding the death of you all's relationship. Because, baby, it's going to come. You can put it off as long as you want to, but, baby, it's going to come. You know what I mean? And it's right on your, especially you, Curtis. And then, Heavenly, on your YouTube, you always love to talk about how Married to Medicine works because you all care about what's best for the show. Well, if you want to be honest, you choosing to not come on the trip if Jackie wasn't coming was not in the best interest of the show. So that goes against everything you talk about on your YouTube channel. That, by the way, I'm a fan of, but I'm still going to be honest with you anyways. Baby, you are not displaying the actions of somebody who cares about the best interest of the show, because you could have still showed up without Jackie. And guess what? The storyline for the trip could have been you and Simone getting into it over Jackie not being there. You know what I mean? Like, what if Jackie decided not to come and Curtis decided not to come? You know what I mean? Like, so then here comes Sweet Tea, and she butts in and says that it's hypocritical how they want to avoid the conversation about Jackie and Curtis, but everyone was ready, willing, able, available, committed to bringing up Quad and laughing about it in Letitia's face. And Letitia, I have to say, you do have a point, and one might say, well, Letitia, you're coming on this show as the ex-wife of a longtime cast member. What do you expect? Why wouldn't they bring it up? But then the problem with that question is it's a double-edged sword, because one could also say to Jackie, well, Jackie, you are on a reality show that platforms your personal life. So why wouldn't you expect for people to bring up, you know, your past, present, and, you know, speculations of the future? You know what I mean? So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. You know what I mean? But yes, Letitia has a very, very valid point, because this is not Jackie's first time or season, you know, not having a problem talking about someone else's mishaps. The biggest example I can bring up is Mariah and her drug test. Any other time, everybody wants to talk about how Jackie brings so much validity to the show as a doctor, like nobody else on the show is a doctor. But anyways, everybody, any other time, people love to just regard Jackie so highly in regards to her medical profession. But when it came time to, you know, validating the results of this drug test, the way they say that she brings validity to this show, she chose to look the other way. You know what I mean? So if I was anybody else on this cast and Letitia got in Jackie's ass, I would look the other way as well. And then Letitia says, well, Jackie says, so do you need to make me feel uncomfortable? And Letitia says, well, you need to be in the hot seat. And Letitia and the rest of the audience may have felt like Jackie ate you up with her little list of all the examples of how and when she's in the hot seat. But baby, just like any other time, there's still some food on your plate, honey. So you didn't eat too much. That still wouldn't have done it for me, baby. That still wouldn't have put me on hush mode. And then did y'all notice at the end, Jackie had to mention how I'm always in the hot seat when I have to, you know, deliver babies for Black women that I could never have myself. Why was that appropriate to be part of that list? That statement felt like resentment. I don't feel like any doctor of mine should be, you know, harboring any feelings of resentment while they're treating me. But I mean, if y'all felt like Jackie ate with that little statement, then I guess. But baby, Curtis, so they moved this little party on the inside, and Curtis talks about how we're too grown for this, and we're not even here to talk about what happened 6, 7. See, I don't even remember how long. Well, of course you don't remember how long ago it was. I'm pretty sure you would like to forget, because it's because of you that we're even in this situation right now. Of course you forgot because you weren't the one who was hurt and crying over it. Of course, you forgot because you was over there having yourself a good old funky time. Probably more funky than good. You know what I mean? So, baby, we don't care what you forgot or remember. So, Eugene asks, if it's not about coming to the place, is it about the people? Like, do you not trust us to not, crap on you and just have a good time? And Jackie, how dare you sit there in their faces and act like you don't feel like they're the problem when you said it verbatim last episode that you felt like this group of people you did not trust to be around with information so sensitive. Baby, you talk out of both sides of your skinny neck. Your response was so condescending and such a lie. That is gaslighting. Like, you literally said that you were worried about Toya bringing it up. Eugene asks, are we the problem as the people on this trip with you? You say, no, this is not about you. Stop being selfish. When you know good and damn well that's exactly what you said, Jackie. Like, the way you're not being honest about your feelings right there tells me that there's no way in hell you're being honest about your feelings when you say that y'all are over it and past that situation. Because y'all are not. Like, you are such a liar. And that's why now I really don't believe your apology. Because, baby, look how and you're on camera. So then Letitia butts in and reiterates her point about the hypocrisy and asks why should she have sympathy for Jackie when she didn't have sympathy for her. And Jackie says, well, get it out if I want you to say however you feel. And Letitia says, F you, and there's a pause, and she calls Jackie the B word. And I'm like, Letitia, you were doing so well. Everything else would have been perfect up until that point. Like, I was thinking that you said the F you after Jackie told you that she was going to handle you. Maybe that's when the F you would have been warranted. I mean, I'm not going to say that you're right or wrong because Jackie had this coming for a long time. And honestly, Mariah should have said that to her in regards to that drug test a couple years back. But baby, you made yourself look unhinged. You made yourself look like the child that they think you are. You made yourself look irrational. You made yourself look impulsive. Like, that was very much embarrassing. Like, now, like you have burned bridges, like Letitia, ugh. I mean, I understand your frustrations. I completely get it, but baby, you wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Okay, right place, wrong time. Your timing was just off, Letitia. Your timing was bad. Like, Letitia, you were unhinged so much so that Gregory, the unhinged king himself, had to, cape for you, so to speak, and let them know that this was not you on a regular basis. But baby, we can say a lot of things about Gregory, and Gregory is crazy as hell. But at least Gregory was crazy in the walls of his own home. Like, all that falling out he did, in that counseling meeting with Quad. Yes, there were other people there, but he was also at home. You know what I mean? Like, Letitia, girl, oh my gosh, like, I was so uncomfortable watching this scene. I was cringing. I wanted to crawl out of my skin and never crawl back inside. Like, girl, like, baby. So Letitia and Gregory go in the room and she gets to crying, and then in the confessional she says how it's hard in this group because of the age difference. Like, Letitia, is it a common theme on this show to speak out of both sides of your neck? Like, in this case, Letitia, both sides of your jaw, of your chin? Like, I'm not understanding. If it's hard for you because of the age difference with these women, imagine, like, what are you saying about your relationship with Greg? Is there not an age difference there? Is he not older than your father? I'm not understanding. Like, you keep mentioning how old these women are, but baby, you're really speaking on how you feel about your man or your father or grandfather, whatever Gregory is, because he's probably old enough to be both. Like, I am not understanding, Letitia. Like, you are not making any sense as a woman.
Where's your integrity? Where your morals? Where your values as a woman and as a mother?
You know what I mean? Like, girl, like, you need to get it together, because it's very much, all over the place. They going to golf and Letitia calls herself apologizing to Jackie, and Jackie basically says, baby, that's cute and all, but baby, when you apologize, that's for you and your conscience. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, you find peace on your own. But baby, I'm not giving you that, nor anything else in the near future or far future. So you sit with that and deal with what you did on your own. But as far as me, I'm done with it. Not even I apologize, baby. I'm done with it. I'm just done with it, honey. And Letitia, baby, I can't, just like Toya said, I can't tell you what to do, honey, because when you do it, it's done. Okay? Like, there's no turning back. Maybe you should have taken a little more time to think about what you said before you said it. But I can't wait till next week, honey, because we get Alicia a little activated, and we move on to, a couple other things. And I'm just glad that this season is like picking back up, because this is my favorite show on Bravo. I don't care what anybody says. No one can ever make me hate the Medical Wives or the Atlanta Wives. You know what I mean? So please like, please comment, please subscribe, and please come back next time. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.